So I just got back from a trip to Montreal. It was my second time in Canada, but it was my first time in Montreal, let alone Quebec. So there were some really nice things that I noticed. Besides the French-speaking influence, I was able to get this feeling like I was in Europe. It's like little Europe placed in North America, right? You don't really have many cities in North America that you really get this European-y feel. It had like Boston elements, but it also had elements of Paris in it as well. From the culture to the street architecture, the street layout, it all just culminated to have a very like warming feeling in a very cold city. So yeah, it was very snowy when I went. So I flew there on Air Canada, and of course, there were delays on my Air Canada flight, because whether or not delays on Air Canada, so irresponsible, so unreliable, but that's besides the point. So we were landed, and kind of the first thing that I did was I went to Mount Royal. So as you see right here, Mount Royal is this beautiful overhead of the city. It wasn't really a hike, but a walk up to the top where we were above the buildings. You were able to see the St. Lawrence River. You were able to see these buildings, the Stade Olympique, the Centre Bell far in the distance, but just the overall Montreal skyline. It really gives you a feel. I love when you're able to go into a city and you can get a vantage point from the top and kind of see it from above. So after Mount Royal, I took a trip to the Stade Olympique. Yeah, as a big baseball fan, I had to see where the Expos used to play. So we went into the pool, which I didn't realize that pool was created for the Olympics, but that pool is still in use. Yeah, you're literally just in the public and you can go in the pool. Like, I think that's so cool. And the track and the pool and the baseball field, it's all connected. And yeah, even though the Expos aren't there anymore, and obviously it was built for the Olympics, that's why it's called Olympic Stadium, it's like a very unique historical part of the sports world, especially baseball. Another thing is that Saputo Stadium is right there as well for my MLS fans out there, CF Montreal. So I checked it out, and that was for me also very, very fun. But besides the kind of the European culture, you had to experience the Canadian culture. Of course I got my Montreal smoked meats. Of course I went to the store to see some bagged milk. But nothing beats Canadian hockey. Oh my god, they love their hockey in Canada. So I hit up the Centre Bell, or as we call it in the United States, the Bell Center, and I saw the Montreal Canadiens play the Carolina Hurricanes. And oh my god, even though the Canadiens are a bad team right now, the atmosphere was through the roof. The Centre Bell, the nicest hockey arena I have been to in my entire life. That thing, the fans, to just kind of like everything from the atmosphere to the food vendors in there to just the overall layout. It was just exquisite. It had a very intimate feeling for it. And then going back to the European feeling of it just felt like walking down the streets with those wide sidewalks, kind of more narrow streets, that you felt like you're in a little Europe. It was very nice being able to go into a pavilion walking center. You know, Europe always has one of those kind of like pavilion centers where there are pedestrians only, no cars allowed. There are all these designer stores, restaurants, and I was able to find a little strip of that in Montreal. And that was very enjoyable. So even though it was cold, Montreal is a fun city, especially if you're from the Northeast. It's so easy to get there, whether it's on Amtrak or bus, or like me, taking it from LaGuardia, Air Canada, quick flight over there. Yeah, check out Montreal. And make sure you check out my experience at the Centre Bell. Video right here, right where my hand is. And to see my most recent video, right here. Check them out.